Well, it's that time of the year again. We embark on another CFL fantasy season as we kick it off with the annual CFC Fantasy Draft Special here tonight. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 252 of the Canadian Football Countdown, a proud member of the Canadian Football Podcast Network and Alternative Football Network. The entire CFC crew here with you this evening as we go through a 15-round fantasy draft here. As we get close to the start of the CFL season, which is kicking off next week, I believe. Can you believe it? We're here. It's been a long off season. This is one of the most exciting shows we get to do every year, and looking forward to that. Before we bring in the panel and each of our drafters here this evening and get the housekeeping notes out of the way, we are live on a variety of different platforms thanks to our presenting sponsor, Game Time TV. Learn more at GameTimeTV.ca or Facebook.com/GameTimeTVMB. We also want to acknowledge that the Canadian Football Countdown is brought to you from Treaty 1 territory, traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis Nation, as well as from Treaty 4 territory, traditional territory of the Cree, Saulteaux, Dakota, Lakota, Nakota, and Métis Nation. If you're looking for additional content beyond the regular episode, Adam has changed hats already. We'll get into that in a second. Make sure you check out the Discord community linked in the episode description, especially with fantasy season kicking off. I'll have lots of fantasy content going in there. And if you want to play in a head-to-head fantasy league alongside us and other members of the CFC community, get in there quick because deadline to apply. There's a form to apply in the CFL Fantasy channel in there. Deadline is, I believe, end of day this Saturday, June 1st. So hop into the Discord. It's free to join. Link in the episode description to join us there. Also, starting next week, we kick off our regular season content. We're going weekly preview, similar format to what we've done the last couple of years, every Tuesday night around 10 p.m. Eastern time. So look forward to consistently joining us on Tuesdays starting next week. Now let's bring in our panel. Once again this year, I'm Ryan. I'm your commissioner for the evening. I am your conductor of this draft. I'm your reigning champion, and I am your roast master. So we're going to roast each of these members as we bring them on in. First up, picking first overall in this year's draft for the third year in a row with the first overall pick, a man who's produced more trash talk TikToks in the last 24 hours than successful fantasy picks in the last 2 years. He's the resident betting expert, but I wouldn't suggest betting on him tonight. Representing team #TCU, it's Trey Colbeck.
Gentlemen, and Mike, it's great to see you guys. But I missed you, Mikey. Mikey, it's great to see you, except for that basement's a little creepy. But I'm waiting for like Mike Myers to run by in the hockey mask or something, or Ghostface. But I'm doing great. Ready for this good night. Yes, I got some. See, look at the comments. I'm number one. I'm number one in the draft pick, number one in the fans. I don't need to win. I got the fans. You know what I mean? That's all it is. Yes, I'm sexy. Yes, not Cameron Dukes. I'm probably Chad Kelly's agent. Let's be real. That's kind of more my style. The badass. I'm the guy your mom that does not want to meet. That's for sure. So I'm ready for it.
All right. Well, good luck to you this evening, Trey. Picking second overall in the draft, a man who's got more CFL fantasy draft experience than the rest of us in the last 2 years because his team was so bad last year, he had to redraft it mid-season. He had the best odds in the lottery after back-to-back last place finishes, and yet somehow got the last choice of pick. But he is picking second overall tonight. Hopefully, he has better luck than he did in the draft lottery. It's Adam Stewart.
Yeah, doing good. Thinking pretty confident here tonight. I know my goal is to probably try to beat Ryan somehow this year. So I've been going and riding in a tractor, listening to kids screaming, just to try to get into his head a little bit to figure out what Ryan would do. So we're seeing if that'll work. Or I also sat through a few team meetings just to make sure I'm in the right mood. So yeah, we're ready to go here.
Oh, if you figure out what's going on in Ryan's head, you let me know because I don't. Good luck to you tonight, Adam. And picking third overall in this year's draft, he famously says running backs are a dime a dozen, but his championship wins are few and far between. He's been MIA for a while, and let's be honest, we're all surprised he even showed up tonight. It's Michael Garrell.
I'm back, and well, we'll see what kind of an advantage I have. Sitting out every show since the free agency, so this will be interesting. But great to be back, and the key to the war room has been found, and it is unlocked and ready to go.
Right on. Well, happy to have you back here, Mike, and good luck to you this evening. And finally, picking fourth overall, the man, the myth, the legend, back-to-back champion. He's inevitable. He's unstoppable. He would have had a crown if he would have stopped at Burger King on the way here to pick one up to celebrate his back-to-back championship wins. I'm going for the three-peat. It's Ryan Coop. It's myself, and I'm here to win the draft once again and do so with ease, as I have the last couple of years. So these are our four teams drafting tonight. We will, like I said, we will be going through a 15-round fantasy draft. Allow me, as your commissioner, to quickly go through how things are going to work this evening. As I pull up the draft board here, we each have up to two keeper selections from last season's draft. You do not need to keep your two keepers, but you can if you would like. We'll take a look at the final rosters here in a moment and make our keeper selections. We will be going through a 13-round regular draft here in which everybody will draft 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 5 wide receivers, 2 defenses, 2 kickers, and 2 of those out, not counting kickers, must be Canadians at least. Once that's finished, a new addition this year, we will have 2 bonus draft rounds where you can pick any skill position players you want, any quarterback, running back, or wide receiver. The reason we're putting these at the end after the main draft is just so that limited teams to pick from. We want to run into it. We don't want to run into a situation where somebody hoards 4 quarterbacks and then somebody doesn't have any. So everybody will have a regular roster before we get into that. If you're watching the video here, you'll notice 2 supplemental rounds as well. Those are if somebody decides not to keep their keeper selection. If you forego one of your keeper selections, you will get a supplemental pick at the end of round 2. And if you forgo both of them because your team was that bad, Adam, you will get an additional supplemental pick at the end of the draft. Scoring system, I won't go over it too much, but it's your standard CFL fantasy scoring. If you play on the public site, I believe it uses most of the same scoring here. Passing touchdowns, 4 points, and point per reception are the most notable things to highlight there. Any questions from the drafters here tonight before we start taking a look at the keeper list here? No, everybody's got it straightforward. Good. Our trial run before this worked out, I guess. All right, let's take a look at the keeper selections. Adam has changed hats 3 times. How many do you have tonight, Adam?
I think this is no. I got one more yet.
Okay. Do you worry your focus on your hats is going to lead to lackluster drafting?
Well, currently it could.
Wait, what's his team name? Can't be worse.
Yeah, can't be worse.
Just like Ottawa and Saskatchewan, man. We can't get worse than last year.
All right, let's take a look at last year's final rosters. If you're wondering why they look the way they do in some cases, it's because we played all the way to week 21 last year and, dropping players who weren't going to play for some backups in some cases there. We didn't discuss this beforehand, but we should discuss this afterwards. I feel like we should perhaps consider ending before week 21 this year just because hardly any of the starters actually start. But we'll talk about that offline after the draft. The available players here on the draft, you can see them on the draft board there. The only stipulation on the 2 keepers, I'll clarify as well. You can't keep 2 quarterbacks. You can't keep 2 running backs. And you can't keep somebody who you kept as a keeper last season, which means AJ Ouellette can't be kept by Team Trey, and Kadeem Carey can't be kept by Team Adam. We will start the keepers in reverse order. As I'm picking number 4, I will give my first keeper selection for this season. When it's your turn to pick a keeper, quickly run through your final roster from last year as well, so the folks at home know your options to choose from. My final roster had Vernon Adams Jr. and Cameron Dukes, James Butler and Dedrick Mills, Nick Dembski, Justin Hardy, Deshaun Brissett, Omar Bayless, and Tim White, David Cote, Boris Beattie, Ottawa's defense, and Toronto's defense. My first keeper selection, this one is an absolute no-brainer to me. He's number one quarterback I have on the board for this upcoming season. You know I love my BC quarterbacks. They've led me to championships 2 straight seasons. Give me Vernon Adams Jr. back on the draft board for myself for this upcoming year. I really think, there's some question marks at wide receiver for his team this year, but I think Vernon Adams is just a gunslinger in an offense that focuses on that, and that's a no-brainer for myself. Team Mike, you are up next on the keeper board here.
All right, gotta figure out the mic on, mic off pin. You know what? This might be the second. This might be the second most obvious keeper when it comes to my roster, and maybe in the league. And every team starts with a great foundation. Team Mike is proud to keep from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers running back Brady Oliveira.
All right, we'll add Brady Oliveira to the board here for Team Mike.
It's just obvious to me when did I lead the lead in rushing and as a complete beast when it comes to running the football.
Okay, well, I'll go through Team Adams' disaster of a roster from last year because, I gotta. Drew Brown was my quarterback. Jake Mayer was my other quarterback for some reason. Devontae Williams was a running back. Kadeem Carey, of course, we talked about him earlier. Tyson Philpo of the Alouettes. Terry Godwin was in my roster. Keon Schaefer-Baker, David Unger III, DeMonte Toxie, Rennie Paredes, Dean Faithful, Edmonton's defense, Montreal's defense. Team Adam, as much as it sounds like I would give up all my players, I will keep one player on my team. He was the 2023 most outstanding Canadian in the Grey Cup. I will keep Tyson Philpo of the Montreal Alouettes.
Huh. I like it, Adam. I like it. So my turn. I'll go quick through my roster here. Quarterbacks ain't keeping none of those two bums. I don't want Bo Levi or Chad Kelly, who might not even play this year. I can't keep AJ Ouellette, but we'll talk about him maybe later. William Stanback, see you never. Drew Waller-Tarski, maybe we'll talk about. But let's jump down to way down. You don't even see it on that screen. Ryan, scroll down a little bit. There he is. Off of my IR, I'm going to go from the 6th to Edmonton, and we're going to get a red off the board right here. Curly Gittens Jr. is going to be my keeper.
I believe he was also your first-round pick last season. So back-to-back years of Curly Gittens Jr. Being on Team Trey.
A man so nice, I got to pick him twice, Do I go again, or do we go
we go reverse order here. So you are back up again here on the keeper selections.
We're going to stick it into the, great championship teams need receivers, so we're going to keep it there. Give me likely the number one receiver on a 7-11 team. Give me Dalton Schoen. If Caleros is able to stand up, he's got to throw it to somebody, right?
All right, so that's 2 receivers off the board for Team Trey in the keeper selections here. Adam, thoughts on those 2 picks?
Well, I think they're both pretty good picks. I mean, I was hoping that he didn't look down at that injured reserve list, but apparently he did.
I almost did.
I was hoping he wasn't, but okay, fair enough. You know what? And also Dalton Schoen. I mean, Dalton Schoen's done quite a bit in this league. He's on his 3rd year now. He's over the terrible 2s, so he should look really good this year. And in Winnipeg, they got to have a really good receiver there for somebody to throw to. Nevertheless, I will play a little bit of strategy here. I am going to leave all of my rest of my players open, and I will go with the supplemental draft in the end of the 2nd round.
All right, so Adam will get a bonus pick at the end of round 2. Tyson Philpott, the only player from your roster that you are keeping there, which moves us on to Team Mike. Mike, you forgot to list off your team before you picked Brady Oliveira, so if you can list the remaining options for the folks before you make your second keeper choice, that would be great.
Yep, sorry, that was my bad. My team consists of Caleb Evans and Trey Ford at quarterback, Brady Oliveira and Daniel Adebayo from the Ardles, Sam Emilis, Tommy Neild, Austin Mack, Darrell Walker, Kenny Lawler, Sergio Castilla, Jose Maltos, and my 2 defense are Hamilton and BC, and ending the year on my IR last year was Braden Lennius. So, with my second keeper, good, strong Canadian Football League teams are built with strong nationals. This guy is an up-and-coming national, and I could not be more thrilled to keep from the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Sam Emilis. I feel that with a full year of Trevor Harris, hopefully, Sam Emilis is primed for a breakout and is one of my top candidates for most outstanding Canadian this year. Therefore, we are keeping Sam Emilis.
All right, Mike, with 2 nationals off the board here early on in the draft or in the keeper selections. Going back to my roster here to finish off mine. First of all, I like the picks. I thought those were going to be your 2 because, yes, Sam Emilis definitely had some big games for you in the Canadian department there last season. For me, it's hard to choose a second keeper when your team is that good that really you just want to keep all of them. But that's not the rule, so you have to make some tough choices here or there. And I'm going to a guy that I think is the lifeblood of his team's offense, and I don't have a ton of faith necessarily in his quarterback, but I do have faith in this running back, and especially with more competent offensive coordinator there this season. Give me James Butler as my second keeper here. I traded for him last season, got him from Trey in the fantasy trade last year, and he was a big part of my championship winning roster, so I got to keep him here for one more season. That ends our keeper selection round here and gets us into kicking off the regular draft. So we go back to this top of the draft board, and we will go in snake draft order here throughout the regular draft as well. If everybody's ready to begin the main draft, I will get things handed over to Trey for the first overall pick.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen. Team TCU. This is a guy that you can build a franchise around. Technically, the rule said I couldn't keep him as a keeper, but I'm going to use my first overall draft pick for him. From the 6 all the way to some field outside of Regina, give me AJ Ouellette. Do I really have to say why? Let's just save time. It's freaking AJ Ouellette. If there's only maybe one other guy I would have taken over him, and Mike kept him as a keeper, and that's about it.
Well, he went from the 6 to the 306. I mean,
I like that.
He's a franchise guy. I mean, the Riders are definitely looking in on him and hoping that he changes that team in a hurry. I think he will, to be honest with you. I think he's going to be a big part of this team around him. He's going to be a good running back this year. And if you didn't hear the whole story, me and Trey were talking earlier this today, and I just didn't even bother giving him an offer because I could tell what he was going to pick right off the bat.
My exact words were the price Adam would have to pay, Ryan would not allow. So
that kind of messed me up. So now I'm about to do something that I can't believe I'm actually going to probably do here, because I know what Ryan's going to do because I'm going to do this. But nevertheless. No, I'm not going to do what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the guy that's right behind me that would love to have him, I'm sure. With the second overall pick, Team Adam selects Zach Collaros of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Wow. That's early for a quarterback.
Well, I'm wearing a Ryder hat. That's right. Let's face it, he's the second best quarterback in the league right now. It might be an argument for somebody else, but I won't say the name. You know what? He has the most yards last year, our second most yards. He had the second most touchdowns. He's a great quarterback. So, I mean, yes, sometimes he gets into that game manager mode, and I'm a little nervous about the offensive line, but until Collaros goes down, I guess we're going to ride with Collaros this year. Mike, you're on the clock.
Your thoughts, Mike, on the Zach Collaros pick by Team Adam here?
Yeah, I'm not at all surprised, but he was not my pick at number 3. I'll say that much. Yeah, I have concerns. I have concerns about Winnipeg this year for what's already been discussed. Time to go in a different direction after Collaros gave me 2 dead years. So no harm all there. With number 3 overall, Team Mike is proud to select the guy that I think can have a massive season. From the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Tim White.
Oh.
This guy had over 1,000 yards last year with a quarterback that, well, we didn't know who his quarterback would be at times. I think he's primed for a big year, especially with the weaponry that he got back today. So therefore, my pick is Tim White.
I think it's a great pick. Tim White was honestly in strong consideration for my second keeper this year. I made the claim all over social media. Tim White's the best receiver in the CFL, and I stand by that. So I absolutely think he's well deserving of a first-round selection here. I mean, he did it with no quarterback last year at times as well, like you just said. So great selection. I love having the 4th overall pick. We're here. Everybody's made a selection, and I get the 2 guys I wanted to kick off my draft, and I am pumped about it. Took a look at the players at each position and who I like and who I don't, and I got to say, not a big fan of the running back position across the board across the CFL this season. There's too many timeshares, too many question marks. AJ Ouellette and Brady Oliveira were absolutely 2 I wanted, but I knew I wasn't going to get them. I needed to keep James Butler, and I'm going to take my second running back off the board here. He was my keeper last season. Back-to-back years give me running back Kevin Brown of the Edmonton Elks. And Kevin Brown, to me, he's one of the most explosive running backs in the CFL. I really like the play I've seen from Kevin Brown over the last couple of years, and I think having a more solidified quarterback situation with McLeod Bethel Thompson there is just going to help the run game more. A little concerned about the O-line there with Edmonton, but Brown's explosiveness, you give him an opportunity, he's going to run with it. And then as I kick things off in round 2 here, we'll go straight back to me here. I'm going to take a guy who, I've got my number 1 quarterback for this upcoming season. Let me take the number 1 wide receiver on the draft board, in my opinion, for this upcoming year and pair him with my quarterback. I'm going to wide receiver Alexander Hollins with the BC Lions. I think he's going to be number 1. He had a fantastic year last year. He doesn't have a ton of support around him. No Keon Hatcher. They got rid of Dom Rhymes. They let Lucky Whitehead go. I think there's some other decent pieces in that offense, but Alexander Hollins is going to be the guy that Vernon Adams leans on. And I think a stack like that is rather dangerous for my roster. So give me Kevin Brown and Alexander Hollins as my back-to-back picks here. Looks like Mike's focused in the war room, so I'll open up to anybody else. Any thoughts on those 2 selections?
Well, I had one of the 2 picks right after getting in Ryan's head. No, I took last year, I took Alexander Hollins, and I thought I took him early, and you know what? He was a very good pick. It's just that in the end, it didn't work out for me to keep him on my team. Would have probably, if he was on my team this year, he would have been one of my keepers, but he wasn't there. Couldn't get him, and I knew I had to take somebody, and I was worried about quarterbacks, so that's where I went. So, but Hollins, honestly, he's going to be one of the best receivers in this league, probably bar none, just because he's going to have a lot of targets to him. As simple as that. So,
All right, we go over to Team Mike. Is Mike reworking all the plans on the draft board there in the war room? Because you are on the clock, good sir.
Yeah, we are already in deliberation mode here. My second round pick. I'm pleased to select from the Edmonton Elks quarterback McLeod Bethel Thompson. I think this guy's going to be on a mission with a lot to prove. He is invigorated to invigorate a fan base, and I think he's going to have an okay season for the Elks, and I have them as the playoff team this year.
Yeah, I like the pick. I mean, he was my second quarterback in my list. The only question I have for him is the O-line going to keep in front of him? Mind you, it's the same question with Zach Collaros. So I think both of them are good choices for quarterback. McLeod Bethel Thompson definitely has the targets out there. Mind you, so does Zach Collaros. So I think both of them are pretty good quarterback picks that have been off the board so far. I am in deliberation mode as well a little bit here. Because I was hoping that Ryan didn't do what he did, but he did. So now I have to deal with it. I am. I don't like that one. Give me 1 second here. I'm still looking up one guy here. I'm going to go with a receiver in this pick, just because of all that's happened over on the Calgary Stampeders side of the thing. I'm going to select Reggie Bagleton of the Calgary Stampeders. Mainly, right. You know what? There's not very many receivers left in Calgary that have some reliable minutes. And, they're injured already. Bagleton's going to get a lot of balls thrown towards him. My only question is Mayer able to get to him?
Yeah, of course, the injury you're talking about, the news coming out today that Malik Henry missed all but the first couple games last season with a big injury, injured himself in practice again this week and is out for the season again. Just terrible. You hate seeing that happen to guys. I think when healthy, he's a top 10, top 5 receiver in the CFL. And to see him go down sucks. So I'm not surprised Reggie Bagleton goes off the board here a little bit early. Trey, your thoughts on the pick, and then you're up to round out round number 2.
No, I certainly like it. I feel like I might have had him on my lineup at some point last year. His name's like a name I remember. If not, he was definitely a guy I like to use in the other CFL Fantasy League. So good pick. My only concern, if I want to be honest, is I have no faith in Jake Mayer. So, I mean, who's going to throw him the ball? But, yeah, like the pick. He's probably the best receiver on the team. Move on to me. Y'all are crazy, man. Talking about Collaros being the best quarterback, talking about VA being the best quarterback, taking Bethel Thompson, who's like 50 years old and played in Atlanta XFL, is the best quarterback. Nah. I'm going to take the real best quarterback in the league, and he ain't getting suspended for nothing. Give me watch him get suspended now. Give me Cody Fajardo of the Montreal Alouettes. Again, do I really have to say why? Grey Cup winner, best quarterback. And you know what? Adams keeper, Tyson Philpott. Yeah, those guys are probably going to – I wanted him. I'll be honest. I wanted him because double points, right? Double XP with those two. And,
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what Fajardo does this year to follow up the Grey Cup performance. I had him, not going to lie, as one of my top quarterback picks this year. But was a little bit reserved just because last season he was accurate, but he didn't light it up most of the year. So he's going to give you solid fantasy points every week. He just might not be the one that lights it up, but he's got a pretty solid floor. So I think it's a good pick. That's the end of round 2. So we go over to the supplemental round. Adam did not select a keeper, or he only took one of his 2 keepers, which means he gets a bonus pick here at the end of round 2. So we'll go to Adam for that. And then afterwards, we'll go back to Trey to kick off round 3 and continue the typical snake draft there. Adam, what are you doing with the supplemental pick here?
Well, I was looking at it, and I really am not sure, but I think I've got an idea now what I'm going to do with it. And I kind of nervous because there is a lot of receivers on this team. I'm going to go with wide receiver national Nick Dembski of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
All right. Anything else to say on Nick Dembski there from you, Adam, or from anybody else?
Namely, been a good receiver for how long? And I mean, national of all things, so that helps a little bit. No, I like it. I thought about it, and I figure that he's probably going to go in the next round somewhere. So pick him up now while I have a supplemental.
I do like the comment here in the YouTube chat. Who would have thought Adam would take 2 bombers before 1 rider? Trying new strategies this year, I guess.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know what? You got to go bold to go win. You can't just wear the green hat and not end up taking somebody in blue.
And keep switching those hats. All right, 2 rounds of the draft down. We all have 4 players, thanks to the keepers / supplemental selections here. Which means Team Trey, you're back kicking us off in round number 3.
Yeah, sorry, I'm here. I just had a thought, and I should have checked this. I've got an injury concern of someone I was going to pick. Am I allowed to ask, or is this something that I should have Googled?
You can ask. I'll be honest with you.
What's Schaefer Baker's status?
He's injured, totally injured. Don't even take him.
He's healthy. Wasn't he playing in the preseason game?
That's what I'm saying. I was looking and I didn't see his stats, unless it was week 1, maybe. Nope. Did he?
Yeah, you're thinking of probably the other. You're probably thinking of Braden Lenius. Braden Lenius is injured for receivers for the Riders. No, Schaefer Baker's completely healthy. He's had a few good yards in preseason. Yeah, he's ready to go.
Then give me Schaefer Baker and I'll round out my Canadian. That's my third receiver. Got my starting quarterback, my starting running back, and my 3 at wideouts. Everyone else can be trash. They can just sit on the bench for all I care. And Shake and Bake is going to be who would have thought? I got, 2 riders and a former rider, and Adam's got bombers galore.
I will mention as well, because you're talking about like your starting quarterback, running back, and 3 wide receivers. The weekly roster this year is slightly different than what we've done in years past, but mostly the same. You do need 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 3 wide receivers, a defense, and a kicker. And then there's also 1 flex spot this year where you can put a running back or a wide receiver. So you do have the option of starting 2 running backs or 4 wide receivers. And at least 1 player in the starting lineup must be one of your nationals. Adam, your thoughts on Keon Schaefer Baker to Team Trey here, and then your pick.
I'll be honest. I was hoping that somebody would have not thought of him for a little while after supplemental. He was my honest thought for the keeper as well for my team, but I went and I said, you know what? Everybody will forget about Schaefer Baker. Maybe they'll think he's injured or something and not take him. But unfortunately, Trey realized he's not injured. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. But that being said, I got to make a pick. And I am going to, as you said before, Ryan, it's very tough to pick a running back this year. But I got to start picking them because they're going to go out down the road pretty quick if I don't. So I am going to select from the Calgary Stampeders, Dedrick Mills. Reason being is he's got a clearer backfield this year. No Kadeem Carey in front of him. I think he should be the number 1 guy in Calgary. And if Jake Maier needs some help, they do rely in Calgary quite a bit on their running backs. So let's hope he makes the number 1 spot.
The only weird thing I found with Dedrick Mills this week was that he didn't play a snap in the preseason game. And I feel like Dickinson had a weird comment where he said, we had a conversation and he needed to sit to learn. So that seems a little bit ominous, but I do think he's an exciting running back. Mike, your thoughts on Dedrick Mills to Team Adam here, and then your pick after that.
I like. Whoops, sorry about that. I like to move a little bit too early for me. Again, this is coming from a guy that likes to teach stabs in the dark a lot earlier in the draft usually. So, yeah, you know what? It's an okay pick. Obviously, Calgary, I think, has a new OC there. Take the pressure off Jade Mayer. It's interesting, but given what's out there, given the scenario, I'm okay with the pick, actually. For my team, I think it would be a little bit too early, though. For me, I am shocked this guy is still out there. Just doing a double scan, and yes, it is true. I'm going to take from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers the David promised. I think it was a 2,000-yard season. Kenny Lawler, just to flush up a little bit in the receiving corps. I mean, this guy did have a massive year if things go according to plan. But we rarely know if things go according to plan. So fingers crossed.
Kenny Lawler would have been one of my next two selections here in the draft. I agree. Last year he was explosive. He was a touchdown machine down the stretch. A lot of mouths to feed in Winnipeg among the wide receivers, which is a little bit concerning there, but I think he is one of Collaros' go-to targets. So I like the pick there, and although I'm a little annoyed you took him. Going over to me here next in the draft to round out round number 3. I'm gonna go to wide receiver, and I'm honestly surprised you didn't take this guy, Mike, and pair him with your quarterback. I'm going with wide receiver Eugene Lewis of the Edmonton Elks. 2 of the first 3 rounds, I'm going back to Edmonton. I feel like I'm having a case of deja vu of last year, which is terrifying in that regard. But this is still one of the top wide receivers in the CFL. He was the top guy going into last year. Now he's got a quarterback that can throw the ball really well. I really like Eugene Lewis, and I think he's going to be a good second receiver here for my team. And then I'm going to go and take my third receiver off the board here in this round. And I'm trying this strategy and I'm feeling good about it. And I think it's going to work out to corner the market here a little bit. So I'm going back to the BC Lions for the third time here in this draft already. And I'm going to a guy that I think, and I claimed a couple weeks ago, will be a top 10 receiver in the CFL this season. I'm taking my Canadian off the board. I'm thankful Adam didn't take him earlier because I think he knows I want him. Give me wide receiver Justin McInnes of the BC Lions. Really strong year last year when he got himself into the lineup. And like I talked about earlier, no Dominic Rhymes, no Lucky Whitehead, and Keon Hatcher is injured till October. So they are going to need to give him a starting role all season. And I've heard he's looked really good in camp so far. Give me Justin McInnes to round out round number 4 for myself here, and feeling really good about that. Mike, your thoughts on these 2 back-to-back picks here?
Yeah, one of your 2 guys was going to be my next pick. I'll leave that up to debate which one is which.
Karma. There we go.
I really like the way your team's shaping up, but prior to the season, it's only a piece of paper. The real results are on the field. For me, this might be a real stab in the dark, which is contrary to what I said in the last round. But this guy's sitting out here. I can't help it right now but pick from the Montreal Alouettes, Keon Julian Grant, as a receiver that I think has the ability to be a top 5 player. I'll be honest and transparent. I was wrestling between him and Nick Dempsey. I have some health concerns with Nick Dempsey, which is why I did not take him. I feel the ceiling on a guy like Julian Grant is a little bit higher for the division that he plays in. And a shadow with my picks, I have the Montreal Alouettes running away with the East Division. and this guy being a big part of it.
Well, I've been looking at players here, and I do not know. But I just took a look, and I think I got a good one here for you.
First of all, Adam, before you get into it, your thoughts on Mike's pick there, Julian Grant.
I think there's a lot of receivers in Montreal, and I'm not sure of how much of a position Julian Grant has when you got Phil Poe and you've got Matt, or not Mac. You've got the gentleman from Saskatchewan last year, Jones, and you also have Speaker, who is good, and you have so many picks in Montreal. It'll be interesting to see where to put Julian Grant. Return yards, I mean, he was good there as well. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with him. But I think it's fourth round. You got to make some bold picks, and Mike, as always, makes his bold pick. So I am going to pick a bold one as well. This guy here had some good yards back when he was a British Columbia Lion. I think he's going to be a good receiver once more. He's going back to his home roots. From the Ottawa Red Blacks, I will take wide receiver Dominic Rhymes. I believe he's healthy also. Am I stupid?
As far as I know, he is.
Yeah, okay. I'll go with Rhymes.
Trey, your thoughts?
You're muted.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Adam. The answer to both is yes, he's healthy, but yeah, you're stupid. Sorry. No, you're good, man. You're good. I like the pick. I think he's primed for a big bounce back year. Not bounce back year, but to set up for a good year in his where his CFL career started, right, or where he spent a lot of time. So I like the pick, man. Does that then mean it's my turn, huh? Oh, boy. See, I'm hemming and hawing at this. I cut my draft board, but I'm debating if I want to go off the board here completely, or do I want to stick to the plan? Because I got back-to-back picks here, right? So
I hate to butt in here, but it would be news to me if Trey has a plan.
I got it all typed out, man. I wish it's sensitive information. Otherwise, I would share my screen. But I do have it round per round who I want to pick, or at least position, and some ideas if available. But I've kind of gotten myself into a conundrum here because we've talked about running backs and the 1A, 1B situation, and it's kind of tough to think who's going to be the guy or who's going to be the main guy and injuries or whatnot, but I'm going to go back with the defending Grey Cup champions here, and you can never have too many nationals, especially in a league where we got to start them. So give me national out of Calgary, University of Calgary, Joshua Antwi as another running back there. Did you have that typed in already, Ryan? You sneaky get you.
I mean, I assumed you were going there. I guess if you're saying a national, it could have been Sean Thomas Erlington, but
yeah, I should have. No, but I think we've been seeing in the league that the national running back is a good way to go, and I think that when you got a guy like him, as long as he stays healthy, he'll be my guy. He'll be a good guy to fit in with AJ Ouellette on this roster. Oh, and I got another one. Oh, look at me go. Give me a second. I just got to type out my own. I know that Ryan's doing his nifty thing, but I don't like the way he has it set up. So let me just type it in the way that Trey's mind works.
Why don't you like the way I have it set up?
Well, just because it's not position by position. So, like, I don't know who I don't know. Like, do I have 3 defenses right now? I don't know. But we're going to keep it locked in here. Speaking of defense, what round are we in? Round 5? No, that's too early. We're going to go. What does the chart say? Ooh. Okay, who do we have picked here? Give me 1 second. We're going to make a splash here, and we're going to stick with the East Division. And I'm going to go on a hunch and take Drew Brown out of Ottawa and wrap up my quarterbacks there.
I like it. I mean, he's a rookie. You never know what you're going to get. A little bit of a wild card, but he does have some good receivers out there now. I mean, They do have a few good pieces, and Ottawa looks okay. I think they got probably one of the better offensive lines to keep them intact. I think they'll be pretty good there, Ottawa, especially in the offensive side of the football. So not a bad pick with Drew Brown. However, I'm going to pick a bona fide number one starter, been for quite a long time in this league. And you knew I had to pick a Saskatchewan Roughrider soon enough. I will take quarterback number 7, Trevor Harris of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. When he was in last year, he was only in for 5 games, and he was still number 12 on the passing list in the whole league, which is pretty funny. So, you know what? He looked good in those few games that he was in Saskatchewan. He looks better and better, or perfect in shape right now. There's no way he's going to lose his job to Mason Fine, maybe Shea Patterson, but not for a little while. So, yeah, Trevor Harris is my guy.
All right, Mike, your thoughts on the Trevor Harris pick here?
Yeah, you know what? That's exactly the spot where I would have Trevor Harris. I just don't know. I just don't know how I like that pick in the back half of the season, based on where I have the Riders sort of finishing. But taking a look at it, Team Adam. Oh, that's his first quarterback. That's a little bit of a surprise. But no, I think if there's anybody that's motivated, Trevor Harris would certainly be the guy. And the Riders, I think, are a better team. Is it remarkably better? I'm not sure. But this guy's going to be motivated for what could be his last season. No, but yeah, I think if you want Mr. Reliable, that is Trevor Harris, and I really like the pick. And I'd be lying if I wasn't considering him for my next pick, but that's okay as well. My next pick is a little bit of a deliberation here on my part, but interesting nonetheless. And it's going to be from the Calgary Stampeders, wide receiver Trey Odom-Stutes. I'm just spreading out the excitement here with my team. This is a guy that should be a target for his quarterback. The only concern I have with this pick is this team's ability last year to hit the end zone. So, but in between the yard lines from end zone to end zone, I like this guy's game-breaking ability, especially with the injury to Malik Henry. Just putting this guy that much more in the spotlight.
I'll admit, fully honest, Mike, I don't love it. I don't know. I don't know where Trey Odom-Stutes fits in this wide receiver room. I think with Malik Henry injury, he's probably getting a starting spot there. If you look at, they've got the heavy focus on the Nationals there. They got Mark and Michelle this year. They got Reggie Bagleton. So I feel like Trey Odom-Stutes might be a depth receiver. But if he does get into the lineup, he was really effective when he was there last year. And could be an effective piece for you here. I believe that's your 5th wide receiver. So that rounds out your wide receivers here for the main draft, at least. I need a rule clarification from everybody that I don't think we discussed earlier. Do you need to have your 2 nationals by the end of the regular draft or after the bonus rounds?
No, you got to have your 2 out before the. If Mike has to have or can't take any more wide receivers, then it should be the same on your national.
That's totally fair. That's no problem. Is that going to be a problem?
This is the longest Ryan has ever thought of a pick. This got to be good.
That's not going to be a problem. We'll be fine.
Oh, I'm just trying to add up how many receivers I have if I can take one more, but I don't think I can.
No, you have 5 wide receivers right now, Mike, so you are locked in there. And you do have several nationals, so you're good in that category. All right, we're going to switch up the draft plan a little bit based on that. We'll worry about this situation later. I'm going to go to wide receiver, though, and go for my third straight or my fourth straight wide receiver here. I can't believe this guy hasn't been picked yet. I think he's the best wide receiver on his team. And I'm going to go to Sean Bain Jr. of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I believe Sean Bain led the league in targets last year with 140. He put up 1,100 yards, and and that was despite Trevor Harris only playing a couple games last year. If he can stay healthy all year, that is an absolutely dynamite pick there. In Sean Bain Jr. So I like that. I like having him on my roster here. And maybe round 5 was too early for a defense, but let's say round 6 is not. I'm going to go and take the first defense off the board. And I think you all know where I'm going here. I think if you listen to last week's episode, you know exactly which team I'm highest on defense. I'm going to the Montreal Alouettes because I think they are absolutely stacked at the position as Trey throws the clipboard. First defense off the board and Sean Bain Jr. in my back-to-back picks. Trey, you seem heated.
Sorry, guys. There was a wasp in here. That's fine.
Oh, I thought you were doing your best impression of...
No, I'm not mad at all, guys. I'm not pissed off at all. No.
You're doing the Jason Moss Memorial?
No, I'm not. Yeah, that's fine. I got to just no big deal. I just have to erase some words on my document. Thanks, Ryan.
Hey, that's I live to crush dreams. That's always my goal. Mike, your thoughts on Sean Bain Jr. and the Montreal Alouettes as these last 2 picks before you give yours?
Yeah, I like it. Somehow this has a roundabout way of making me feel bad for my Julian Grant pick because it just sends him further down the depth chart, but that can be dealt with accordingly. I like the pick. Of course, there's always somebody here that we're not talking about that's going to have a breakout year, and that's okay. For my pick of this next round, I'm sticking at kicker. Did I do the kicking route? Do the backup quarterback route? I'll go with the kicker route. I'm going to go for the Montreal Alouettes, David Cote. I think this guy has the highest upside at the risk of being a homer. But no, I feel like this guy can make some clutch hits when needed, although it feels like if you need points from a hitting position, this guy might not be the best if you want an offense with 10 of stalls, but I'll take my chances there.
All right, Adam, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, a good pick. I think maybe I'm thinking a little early for kicker, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. You know what? You can't go wrong with a guy that's won a Grey Cup. He's a good kicker. He's out of Montreal. Montreal's probably going to get a lot of single-point converts, if nothing else. And Cote can kick a long ball when he does need to. So, no, I think it's a good pick. I am looking at a guy that I can't believe we haven't mentioned yet here in the draft as well. This is, first of all, how many receivers do I have before I make a pick?
Let's double check. You've got Tyson Philpott, Reggie Bagleton, Nick Dembski, and Dominic Grimes. So you need one more.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to hold off. I'm going to go and I think I'm going to go and aim for picking my extra running back right now while I can. I think he's going to be the starter in Toronto, and I think he's looking like he will be. I think he's a pretty good running back. I'm going to go with Kadeem Carey of the Toronto Argonauts. And the reason being is he's proven himself great in the years. He's a little banged great as he is, but I think he's got 1 year that he's going to play real strong, and then Toronto's going to look at a different wide receiver or running back. But for this year, I think he's the main guy until proven otherwise.
I like the pick Ryan and I talked last week because there are other options in national. So I was wondering if that Kadeem Carey might be listed as the backup just so he could do the 49% snap thing and be considered a Canadian. So I thought he would definitely get some usage. Is he going to – great as your backup running back or a guy on bye week, he could get a couple touchdowns for sure and get your points up. I like the pick. Now, because jerk face Ryan had to go and throw everything off here, we're going to stay away from defense for a second here. I'm going to go crazy here. Call me crazy. And no, there's no way I could pass a drug test. But we're going to go and we're going to do something wild. I'm going to take Janarian Grant. Give me Janarian Grant, the kick returner for the Toronto Argonauts. And he'll slide in as my fourth receiver, correct? Is that what his position is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think seeing that the kick return points count, 6 points for a touchdown, he might not be a starting guy, but on a week where some of those other teams are on buys and you throw a guy in and he could easily get you a touchdown or two in a game and all those receiving or kick return yards. Yeah, give me Janarian Grant. Let me just type that out. Janarian Grant. And then, since I'm the next pick, I love my
next pick here, Trey. I figured end of round 6, we're partially in the draft. Let's take a look at everybody's draft board, see what everybody needs still before the round starts. Looking at everybody's draft board, this is not the right order. This is Team Mike. This is still copied in from last year. There we go. Trey and Adam have both quarterbacks already. Mike and I still need one more. Everybody's got 2 running backs except Mike. And at wide receiver, Mike is locked in at 5 wide receivers. Everybody else is at 4. Mike's the only one with a kicker off the board. I'm the only one with a defense off the board. And nationals, I guess, doesn't populate in the chart. But Trey's got 3 nationals. Adam's got 2. Mike's got 3. And I have 1. As we kick off round number 7. Sorry, Trey, back to you.
Oh, great. And the guy who made the last pick, fantastic pick. It's a shot in the dark, but I love everything about it. So on to the next one here. We're going to kick off round 7, lucky number 7. Oh, God, I'm going to hate myself for this, but give me the Saskatchewan Roughrider defense. I don't know other than I just don't want Adam to have him. So that's all I got. And the only one I was really set on was Montreal. Outside of that, I've got a lot of question marks about a lot of defenses, and there will be one extra at the end of the night likely that I can swap out if I don't like it. So we'll go. Adam, how do you like those picks?
I have no words for you anymore. Friendship over. Taking my Rough Riders, you bugger. You know what? The Rough Riders have some really good secondary guys right now that are rookies that are coming in to their own. They seem to be pretty ball hawkish lately. Honestly, they were my pick if Montreal wasn't available as well. So, yeah, that was Trey going outsmarting the Coyote. Yeah, you all know what happens with the Coyote usually during the cartoons. So, yeah, we'll go with that. Anyways, now it's time for me to run into a wall again, and I just have to look at my receivers for 1 second because I am going to take one right now, if I can find the name really fast. Yeah, can't believe he hasn't been taken. He's a 1,000-yard receiver. He's on a team that doesn't have a whole lot of receivers on them that are got any real amount of experience in the CFL. So I'm going to take Tavares Daniels of the Toronto Argonauts. Again, over 1,000 yards. Cameron Dukes needs somebody that he's kind of comfortable with. Tavares Daniels is always there, it seems. So why not throw him up as a wide receiver?
Mike, your thoughts?
Yeah, I like this pick a lot. a lot better than some of mine, but that's the way it goes. I think he did have a really good year, veteran. He's been around the block, and for a young quarterback, that's what they need. Is veteran receivers with a surefire bat to hand. So trusty second down receiver can go up and get it, can beat you deep with the occasional play, and all around guy that I would want on my team if I was the general manager most seasons, given his serviceability, if that's a word. With my next pick, I'm going to reach sort of in the way back category, but having already taken somebody at this position, I like my ability as a backup anyway to be able to get this guy. That is from the BC Lions, running back William Stanback. And not a starter on my team, but a very serviceable backup when required, is my logic behind that.
Yeah, I like the pick. Stanback was kind of one of the middle running back options I considered. It looks a lot better for him now after they released Taquan Mizell this week for sure. I thought it was going to be a split. A little concerned about him being able to hold the workload over the course of the season at this point in his career, but I do still think he is an effective running back there if they use him effectively. So William Stanback, that's the first that's the first BC player to anybody but me so far. So you know what? When we go back to me, I'll go back to the BC Lions here. And I'm going to take their defense to round out my defenses. I like Montreal out east. I really like BC out west. Their defensive backfield and their linebacking core is the best, I think, in the league. I don't love the situation for many other teams there, so I will take the BC Lions defense. Defense wins championships, and looking forward to another one here. That is my defense pick. Let's see, what else do I need? Did I put the right number of rounds here in the draft? I don't think I did on the board. I don't think there's a round 13 or a round 12. Now that we're through round 7. How many rounds do we have left?
I think there's only 11 plus the 2 extra.
I think the 2 keepers I counted accidentally. So let's delete these. I was wondering why there were so many spots left on the draft board. It was very confusing. That's a lot better. Okay, so 4 rounds left in the regular draft here. And then nobody gets a supplemental pick. So I'm just going to delete that row out of here as well. 4 rounds left in the draft. There's a couple of different ways I could go here. You know what? I had an interesting strategy coming into today, but I can see a scenario. I feel really good about my team so far, and I can see a scenario where that strategy gets me burned. So I'm not going to go there right now. I'm going to take my backup quarterback at this time. I've been hyping him up all training camp long. You're not going to bring in Nick Arbuckle and make him the starter. Cameron Dukes is the next best big thing in Toronto. Take the rookie quarterback, let him run with it. I'll have him as my backup for VA. I don't need him to play till week 8 when VA is on a bye unless VA gets injured. So give me Cameron Dukes in round number 8 here. A little bit concerned, does Kelly come back eventually midway through the season? But by that point, there will be enough injured quarterbacks around the league that I can pick up a new starter off the waiver wire.
See, I thought you said injured or quarterbacks you hyped up. I thought you were picking Mason Fine.
Oh, no. Save that for the bonus round.
Fair.
All right, Cameron Dukes and BC defense off the board to me here in round 7 and 8. Mike, your thoughts on Dukes at quarterback this year?
You must have been reading off my piece of paper because that was my next pick. Congrats. I really like that pick. I maybe should have taken him earlier. This guy showed, but he can play in games where he played last year. So I don't know how much of a step back he is over Chad Kelly, but the Argos lost some star power in and around them. So yeah, for a backup for your team, Ryan, I really liked it. Yeah, I liked it. It's a good pitch. Me, I am going to. Oh, do I do it? Give myself some assurance in case the MBT fin backfires. But sometimes you just need to take chances. So I'm going to go from my Hamilton Tiger Cats, Bo Levi Mitchell, for the Comeback Revenge Tour.
Honestly, I watched the preseason game the other day against. I watched a few series in the Hamilton Red Blacks game. Bo had a high throw. He had a low throw. He had a miss. He had two receivers drop throws. And then he had a heck of a drive with ending it with Bridges in a 30-yard just perfect throw into the end zone. So, you know what? Maybe Bo Levi Mitchell will come back and prove us all wrong. I sure hope for your case, Mike, it is true. And that he dominates the league and we're playing him in the Grey Cup in November.
Did you guys hear that? You could hear champagne bottles from FM fans' basement just going off, like pop, pop, pop. Finally, Bo's off the board.
You know that right now in Hamilton, you know that scene where they have like the big play and then everybody's celebrating in the bar? Well, that's what's happening in Hamilton at this moment.
Let's be real. If anybody was going to pick Bo Levi Mitchell in this draft, it was going to be Mike. Although I earnestly thought about picking him as my second quarterback just to mess with people after how much I talked down about Bo at his current point in his career. But yeah, he did look all right in that preseason game. And if he can be healthy, we'll see what he can do.
Absolutely. So, you know what? Hey, I'm hoping for the guy. It'd be great to see him go out on top. And you know what? That would be awesome. But we'll see what happens. Anyway,
I believe that's all the quarterbacks off the board from the main draft now. Jake Mayer from Calgary, the only one not drafted. Anybody surprised by that? I'm not surprised he's the last one left on the board.
No.
Oh, crickets. Doesn't seem like it. Adam, over to you.
I'll just say this: the reason I didn't take him over Bo Levi Mitchell is I don't trust his inability to finish drives. There's no track record there for me. That obviously coming from somebody that hits the quarterback that I can hope stays healthy. I don't know. Like for me, that was the deliberation between my second quarterback was Bo and was Jake Mayer, and I just went with experience over a somewhat unproven player still, if that's a pain.
Anyway, I'm going to go and I've only got, 2 kickers, 2 defense left, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Brian?
Sorry, I was Trey. I was responding to Trey in the chat. Yeah, we can take a look at what you've got left here on the board. Team Adam needs 2 kickers and 2 defense.
Yeah, okay. 2 kickers, 2 D. So I ain't got very much choice in the matter, but I'm going to start with, you know what? I can't let Ryan have everybody out of the BC Lions. So I'm going to start there. I'm going to go with kicker Sean White of the BC Lions.
Money White is money all the time. Good pick there. Trey, you brought up an interesting question in the chat that I hadn't fully thought through yet before. So we'll come up with the consensus now of what makes sense. Once we get through the main draft and get to the bonus rounds, does the order reset or do we continue in the snake order? So going by the remaining order here, the regular draft will end with me with the last pick. Who gets the first pick of the bonus rounds? Is it me or Trey?
Well, I mean, my vote is for starting with whoever was last place last year, but that's a different story for a different reason.
I don't care. I was just curious because it changes my my thinking a little bit, so that's why I wanted to know. Because do I have the fourth bonus pick or do I have the first bonus pick? That's all.
I'm fine to go regular draft order. Mike, you're later in the draft. You fine to give Trey and Adam the picks to start off the bonus round?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
They need all the help. Let's be real. They need all the help they can get.
Perfect. Guys, you just made me happy. Ryan, I forgave you for the Montreal thing then because I'm going to blow you guys
out.
Bonus.
For me, there's still a lot of options there with those late picks, so I'm okay to win later.
You're not going to take my picks anyways, so.
But the bonus round is what's the bonus round picks again?
Any quarterback, running back, or wide receiver.
Perfect. That's okay. But we're going to stick here to round out. This guy, I'm shocked, is not taken yet. I know only 2 kickers are off the board here. Man, the best thing I ever can hear at now newly named Princess Auto Field is the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Every time this guy hits it right through the uprights. Give me Sergio Castillo. And my father-in-law does not know how that's not considered racist. So I love it. And then what's my next round here? What do I got left? The defense? Defense, kicker, and another wide receiver, I believe.
Yep.
Give me... what defenses are taken here?
So far, it's been Montreal, Saskatchewan, and BC off the board on defense.
Give me Winnipeg. Winnipeg's D. I think there'll be a step back, but I'm sure Willie will get some fumbles. There'll be some picks. And yeah. Adam, tell me how much you love my last 2 picks, buddy.
Well, Castillo, I mean, okay, good enough. I can't believe you didn't really go for Justin Medlock. I mean, why wouldn't you? But nevertheless, in the Winnipeg pick, I mean, probably it's the next best defense in the West, other than Saskatchewan and BC. I think it probably is the 3rd best defense, so why not? I think that they'll take a step back this year in their line, but you know what? Line doesn't get you a whole lot of points unless they get some sacks. Pressures don't count for nothing. So I think that the secondary is always still pretty hungry over in Winnipeg, so we'll see what happens. I think it's not a bad pick, though. I'm going to go with another kicker and get this over with. If I get the poor picks in the defense, I get the poor picks. I don't think there's really much. FM Fan told me the smartest way here, you always take your defenses last because who cares about defenses? Essentially, they don't get you much. Except for in our league, they get you a little bit. Nevertheless, I'm going to go with another kicker, and I'm going to welcome back to Team Adam, Rene Paredes of the Calgary Stampeders. I mean, he got me so many points last year. He was the only thing to get me points in the end. So I figure, you know what, he earned his job back.
I believe he was part of your trade with Trey last year where you got him for free, right?
No, I had him early. I thought, oh, wait, yeah.
No, I think you picked him up, and then he was like the only one on your team scoring points last year. Adam's got arguably the 2 oldest kickers in the league here, in Sean White and Rene Paredes.
Most experience
for sure. Yeah, that's not a knock on them. Heck of a career for both of those guys. All right, a couple of kickers off the board here in a row. We'll go over to Mike here in round number 9. Mike, on the board, you still need a kicker and 2 defenses.
All right, for me, give me a defense. Coached by Chris Jones. I'm going at the Edmonton defense, which has to be a lot better than last year. And I have the playoff team, as I said earlier. So defense is going to carry them as far as they're going to want to go. So that's why I'm taking the Edmonton defense.
Chris Jones, like you said, is known for his defenses, and they get better over time. I'm a little concerned about some of the depth on that defense, but they did bring in pieces like Luchez Purifoy, like Joel Blanco, the lower linebacker they drafted first overall. So I do think they have some good additions there for that defense. I'm going to pick my first kicker, I think, off the board here. What do I need? I need a kicker. I need 2 kickers and I think a wide receiver is what I need. I'm going to stick with the Edmonton Elks, and I'm going to go to that new addition at kicker, Boris Beatty. He was the most accurate kicker in the CFL last season. I think he is going to be a huge asset there for them. I think this is a team that's going to be better offensively, but I don't know if they're going to be absolutely lighting it up. I think they could get more drives in field goal range, which gets me more field goals from one Boris Beatty. I think I'm going to leave my my receiver slot for the end of the draft here and take my second kicker off the board, actually. Am I going to do that here yet? Do I care who my second kicker is the question here. No. Do I? No. I will go to my wide receiver slot. And because I don't know which kicker to prioritize, so a lot of them kind of had down years of percentage-wise last year. And I don't think he'd be taken from me. I know Trey has a receiver to pick yet. Adam's got one. Philpott, give me the other one. Jalen Philpott is healthy. I need a Canadian receiver off the board. Malik Henry out with an injury. I think Jalen showed some promise in his first year. And I want to see what he can do here in his second year of being fully healthy after he missed a lot of last season. So sounds like he's healthy and ready to produce. So I hope he produces for my team. Give me Jalen Philpott of the Calgary Stampeders to round out my Nationals here in this draft. Mike, your thoughts on Boris Beatty and Jalen Philpott? Or Trey, your thoughts on Jalen Philpott? You've got a receiver left. Was he in consideration for you at all? I saw you making some sort of motion there.
Oh, not a chance. You skipped right over to the couple of guys I have on my draft board still.
All right.
Yeah,
Mike?
Sorry, what? I've been having a little bit of audio issue. What team did Beatty play for?
The Edmonton Elks.
Oh, okay, wait. Yeah, okay, because I saw the articles released him. I wasn't sure where he was picked up from. I like the pick. It's consistency. It's don't want to put him in the Sean White category, but he gets the job done. There's a collective group of kickers in the CFL, the Steers, the Paradises, those types. The mainstays that help out in that regard. So that's what I would say to that. Oh boy. But this pick for me, I'm going to take from the Argonauts, Liam Alphabet. I'm not even going to try his last name.
Hiralahu.
Okay. Liam. I just called him Liam Alphabet when he was here.
Adam even got it right.
Sorry?
Hey, I've been practicing.
Forgot to include that in my roast at the beginning of the show. That what are the odds on Adam pronouncing half his team's names right tonight? Not high. Liam
Go on the under, man. Go on the under. No, I like Hiralahu.
Just as a response to Richard, there is a extreme reason why I have William Stambat as my backup running back, and you touched on the exact reason why William Stambat is my backup running back. So just thought I'd clear that up for Richard. I'm with you. I don't know if they're gonna run the ball very much, but time will tell.
All right, Liram Haralahu off the board. The second after I made my pick, I regretted not taking Haralahu. I looked through last year's kickers and looked at the percentages, and none of them stuck out. And then we talked about Boris Beattie going over to Edmonton. I was like, wait, who's in Toronto? And you hit the nail on the head there, Mike, back from the NFL. Adam, you had your 2 kickers already. Did he come up in thought for you for either of those?
Yeah, I was thinking of him over Rene Paredes, but again, Calgary's only points might come from Rene Paredes, and he has the long ball. I like Paredes just as a length kicker and also as an accurate kicker. So kind of went over with experience over, Hiralahu essentially, although Hiralahu has a lot of experience as well. So it was close, honestly. I could have went either way, but have to pick one. For my next pick, I am going to pick the Darius Pickett's, the Ottawa Red Blacks as my defense. I really like them. You know what? Their secondary, I think, has improved from last year. I think they've got a good defensive line in there. They're getting young, but they've got some good Canadian pieces in there that'll help them out. I still say Daniel Opako will be a big piece coming forward for Ottawa. I'm confident in Ottawa to take their defense.
Yeah. I don't hate it. I'm not really confident in many defenses, even the ones I have. So, it's hard to judge the defensive picks. They could get you 10 interceptions or they could give up 500 yards. So, you never know. And I have my last 2 picks here.
You need a kicker and a wide receiver, I believe.
Okay. Well, we're going to take my wide receiver first here. I am appalled that this gentleman is not selected by either mostly Mike, but and Ryan. He's on a new team this year, and I think he will be a guy that will get thrown the ball a fair bit, especially with a young quarterback that needs some reliability. From Delaware Valley, give me Rasheed Bailey. And then now I got to Google who's available kickers.
We can touch on Rasheed Bailey while you do that. Signing with the Argos this year. I think he's a good addition there for them. The wide receiver room for Toronto confuses me, though, and even more so this year with the addition of guys like Bailey and Grant. I feel like there's a lot of good names in there, but who's going to get the ball? That being said, Chad Kelly was the one who spread it around to everybody. Is Cameron Dukes going to have a favorite target? And it surely could be a guy like Bailey. He definitely stepped up whenever he kind of was chosen as that go-to guy. So I like that pick there as a depth pick here in Bailey. You need a kicker yet here, Trey.
Yeah, sorry, man. It's just loading. I don't even know the kickers are anymore. Who do we got picked here?
I'll answer Richard's question in the chat. In the meantime, yes, you do get return yards for receivers. Kickers that are off the board: Sergio Castillo, Sean White, Rene Paredes, Liram Haralahu, and Boris Beattie. I believe remaining kickers on the board are Lewis Ward, Brett Lauder, Mark Leggio.
Should I?
Yes.
Good.
Yes, you should.
Give me Mark Leggio.
All right, Mark Leggio. Back to Team Trey. You didn't want to make him your keeper from last year?
Yeah, waste that. I would have rather kept Chad Kelly over Mark Leggio, man. But that pick's for FM Fan, man. I think that's my only tie cat. So there we go.
All right, Trey's board is rounded out here. Adam, your thoughts? And then your final pick.
Mark Leggio is a pick. That's about what I can say about it. Honestly, no, sorry. I don't mean to be mean, but you know what? I would still like to take somebody maybe from Hamilton later, but I'm not going to take their defense, unfortunately. I just don't like their chances. I think they're not that they're a bad defense. I think they're just going to be on the field a lot. And I'm sure FM fans are going to give me grief about this one, but you know what? They still got a lot of pieces, even if they lost their defensive coordinator. I'll go with the Toronto Argonaut defense. Or can I? Yes, I can. I almost pulled off a Rod Black. Or can I? Anyways, you know what? They still got a lot of pieces on their team that helped them be a pretty dominant defense before. I think they're still going to be a very dominant defense. Maybe not quite what they used to be, but they're still going to be pretty darn good. They got Theatric Hansen as a global. They got a few other pieces in. I think they'll be all right. So we'll see what happens.
All right, Mike, your thoughts on Toronto's defense? And then your final pick.
Yeah, he beat me to the punch, plain and simply. But that's okay. Help me out. I want to take the Hamilton defense. Is that an option for me?
Yes, I believe Hamilton and Calgary are the final two choices there.
Okay, give me the Hamilton defense. And my first defense is Edmonton, right? Yeah, I'll take Hamilton. Yeah, that's okay.
Why Hamilton over Calgary?
Just a little bit more of the provability factor, but I flipped the coin, quite honestly. I wanted one from each division. That was kind of the thinking there. I don't know how valid that is, but
yeah, I think you were down into the final two choices there either way. I don't know if one sticks out necessarily over the other. I feel like there's some pros and cons to both. That rounds out your draft board here, Mike. I have a final choice of kicker here. I believe my options are between Lewis Ward and Brett Lauder. Both of them at times have been really great kickers in their career. Both struggled at times last season. So it's a bit of a tough choice. I'm going to go with the guy on the team that I think is going to get stalled in field goal range more often, and that's the Ottawa Redblacks. I'm not hugely confident in their ability to move the ball extremely well. So much like I took Boris Beattie out of Edmonton for the same reason, give me Lewis Ward of the Ottawa Redblacks. And that's going to be my first member of the Redblacks here. That rounds out our regular rounds of the draft. Now we get into the two final bonus rounds here. You can pick any running back, wide receiver, or quarterbacks to add to the bench of your team here in these final two rounds. We go back to Trey with the first pick.
I mean, inevitably, Adam's going to get screwed because Zach Collaros is going to end up on the IR. And I'm going to take Mr. Fur Coat himself, Chris Streveler.
Hey.
And that's why I wanted to know how it went, because I needed to get him first. If I had the fourth pick, there was no way. He doesn't deserve fourth pick of a bonus round. Adam, tell me how much you love my pick, man. I want to hear it.
That's more why you did this, didn't you? Yeah, he's a good running back. He can make a lot of running plays. Anything else you want to know? Does he have an arm? Not sure if they found it yet underneath that buffalo jacket. Nevertheless, you know what? Kind of a weird pick because, I mean, there's some good wide receivers still available. And I think I'm going to take one of the guys that was maybe the most underrated of the whole draft here. Give me Justin Hardy of the Ottawa Redblacks. He is one great receiver, over 1,000 yards last year. And honestly, we used to play him in fantasy all the time just because he was a great receiver. But everybody forgot about him again. I don't know why. So, you know what? He looks good on Team Adam.
Yeah, Justin Hardy, great 1,000-yard receiver. He was one of the guys I was eyeing on my draft board. Interestingly, two Ottawa wide receivers here for you, Adam. Are you believing in the Drew Brown factor this year?
No, I'm just, trying to spread the ball around. And I think there's really only two wide receivers in Ottawa. So might just run that. Sometimes less is more in some of these teams. So.
All right, Mike, your first bonus pick here.
Give me 1 second here.
He's frozen.
He wanted Justin Hardy, didn't he?
Or Chris Streveler.
It could be Chris Traveler.
Or Lewis Ward. No, probably not, but especially since he can't pick a kicker. But Mike, the clock is running.
Yeah, hang on. If it was such a thing as a timeout, I would use it right here.
An hour and a half into the show, there are no timeouts.
You can't even get the
I know,
punishment
I
where you
know,
took
I
the
know.
goal.
And I mean, yeah, you can't even get the extra player because you already took him.
I'm wrestling between two guys on the same team. I'm already going to put this receiver in the X position on this team. Because I know that Ryan's probably going to take the one that I don't take if he's trending with me.
Interesting.
Oh, boy. Why do I make this so hard on myself? I'm going to have Ryan make the decision for me if I think
Okay.
I know where he's going.
All right.
I'm going to go way, way, way off the board here.
Love it. That's what bonus rounds are for.
I'm going to go at running back for the Edmonton Elks, Javon Leach.
Is it that off the board? Adam was claiming running back controversy in the first preseason games.
I feel something is coming over there, and Javon Leach be a part of it.
I believe that's now, 4 members of the Edmonton Elks for Team Mike. As the person who was in that situation last year, I'm so sorry for you. To end up with all this hope preseason that's going to come crashing down. No, I understand the logic behind there. Again, return yards count, and he's the best returner in the league. So I like it. See, I told you guys, it doesn't matter if I go first or I go last in the bonus rounds. I get the guys I want, no matter what in the draft. And I get the guy that I was worried back in round 6 I wasn't going to get because he is, I have him slotted in as my number 6 wide receiver in the league this upcoming season. Apparently, hopefully he's learned how to read a playbook by now. He's going over to the Montreal Alouettes to pair with Cody Fajardo. It's Tevin Jones. I was super high on him last year. He's going to play left wide out, presumably where Austin Mack shined there in that role. And I think he's going to be a huge piece for that Alouettes offense. I would put him as my number 2 choice behind Tyson Philpott on that team. So super excited to get him in the bonus rounds when I was worried he might go halfway through the draft and have to make some tough decisions. And then I only have 2 Canadians on my roster, so I want a little bit extra depth here, and I think I want some flexibility. I'm not sure if the guy in front of him is going to be healthy to go all season long, so I'm going to take Daniel Adeboboye of the Toronto Argonauts at running back as my second bonus pick here. I think he's the future for that team at running back, so I think this is going to be a good year for him. I think there's situations where I could probably slot him in if I have others on a bye week and need to play a Canadian, and he can still pick up a couple points even if he doesn't have the starting role. So give me Daniel Adeboboye as my final pick in the draft here. Mike, any consideration to either of those 2 guys for you? Did I make the choice easy for you for your wide receiver?
No, you didn't. I was completely wrong. Oh man, I'm in the same spot. Oh boy. I don't want to do this. Do I do this to myself or do I not? That's the question. Take from a Hamilton Tiger Cats, Terry Godwin.
You may want to pick a player that's on an active roster, Mike.
Okay.
He was released last week.
He was? I didn't even see that. All right. Then I'm going to take Stephen Dunbar. That made my deliberation pretty easy. made my deliberate. So I was sitting between Gladwin and Dunbar. So Dunbar's there for me. I'm going to take Stephen Dunbar then.
Yeah, Stephen Dunbar signing just today, I think it was announced, right? After he went to the UFL after being let go of the by the Edmonton Elks after last season. He's back with the Ticats, where he was once a 1,000-yard receiver. It's a good fit there. Richard says Mike must not have listened to the show where we talked about Terry Godwin being released. So I guess you missed that episode, Mike. Adam, you're up next. Any thoughts on Dunbar before your final pick here?
I'll be honest, he was the guy I was going to probably look at. I don't know now. I'm trying to do some panic in the back end, trying to figure out a player. I'll figure out one pretty quick. But no, good pickup. Stephen Dunbar Jr. played pretty good in Edmonton last year. I think he probably was going to lock in being the number 4, number 5 receiver. So he jumped out of there. I think he had AFL opportunities, did he? Or did he have some other opportunities in the South Spring Leagues, I think was why he left?
He did go to the Spring League, yeah.
Yeah, okay. No, that makes sense. Okay. Well, I haven't picked anybody, I don't think, from this team yet. And if I did, well, you're going to have another one on there. And it's a player that cursed both me, Ryan, a bunch of the guys last year. Ryan's already smiling because he knows who I'm going to take. From the Edmonton Elk, number 17, Dylan Mitchell. He's got to have a bounce back year. He's the 3rd year now. It's got to be going this year. I don't know. I think he'll pencil it as a number 3 receiver. They don't have the Manny Show anymore, so he's got to get some more yards, you think.
I went through the wide receivers to put on my draft board, and I looked at Dylan Mitchell, and I shuddered and said, I can't do this again after last year. Not going to lie. I'm still hoping he has that round. Go for it. Yeah, this is you take those shots, and I don't think it's an unrealistic one there either. Trey, how are you doing? You want to round out the draft here?
Yeah, we're going to, I've been scouring the sheets here, and a guy that I was actually debating taking in the regular draft as well. And he'll be, I think, only my second Oski Wee Wee Ticat on my lineup. He was on my team last year, but he played for a different team. Hell of a last name. And we want to talk about alphabet here. Luther Hakuanavanu, national, now plays for the Ticats.
Trey, it's Hakanavanu.
Whatever.
And yes, I tried to pronounce that one right because otherwise Ryan will make fun of me.
He can't even.
Adam's just practicing now.
He can't even fit his name. Yeah, there we go. Stretch it out. I thought I had it right, but there was too much time in between picks here. Just get some Canadian depth in there. Like we said, probably 1-1A in Hamilton's going to be White with Dunbar, and they might need that third guy. And he was. I liked what I saw from him out of Calgary at times last year.
All right, that concludes the draft. Let's run through and recap and talk about our team super quick before we get out of here. Team Trey picked first overall. Is Trey still there? Did Trey have to step away? Trey had to step away. He'll be back. So Adam, we'll go to you. You picked second overall. Keeping Tyson Philpott at wide receiver. Elected not to go a second keeper here for you. You went Zach Collaros, Reggie Bagleton, Nick Dembski, Diedrich Mills, Dominic Rhymes, Trevor Harris, Kadeem Carey, Devaris Daniels, Sean White, Rennie Paradis, Ottawa's defense, Toronto's defense, Justin Hardy, and Dylan Mitchell on your team this year. How do you feel about how the draft went for you?
Well, there's a few things I would like to have made work. I was hoping that somehow Team Mike was asleep at the wheel and Brady Oliveira became released and open, but would have made it awful fun to watch Trey to see what he would have done. But, of course, Team Mike, why the heck would he ever give that one up? No, you know what? I'm happy with the guy I kept. I'm pretty happy with some of the picks I made. I think some of them could have been better. You know what? There might be some action on Team Adam before the season starts. Stay tuned. There might be a few little changes that I might make. As Ryan says, his favorite time is the waiver wire.
Oh yeah, waiver wire wins championships. Trey's back. Trey picked first overall, went with keepers Curly Gittins Jr. and Dalton Schoen, a couple wide receivers there. AJ Ouellette, Cody Fajardo, Keon Schaefer Baker, Jeshua Antwi, Drew Brown, Janarian Grant, Saskatchewan's D, Sergio Castillo, Winnipeg's defense, Rashid Bailey, Mark Leggio, Chris Streveler, and Luther Hakunavanu round out your draft. How are you feeling about your team this year?
I think the team has definitely improved. Maybe didn't get to mess with Ryan as much as me and Adam would have hoped, but like I said, if we're playing that game, we're gonna lose because we don't even play checkers. We play like, I don't know, what's that game with the stick and the hoop, and Ryan's playing chess, 3D chess, right? That's kind of the difference here, but I like it. Is Mike finished second back-to-back years?
Yes, yeah.
I think that's my goal. Me and Adam, we got to go for silver, and then we got to take him off, and then maybe next year we'll take out the undisputed champ.
All right. Well, Mike, we'll see if you can finish top 2 for the third year in a row. You kept Brady Oliveira and Sam Emelis as your 2 keepers. So 2 nationals off the board for you right away. Tim White, McLeod Bethel Thompson, Kenny Lawler, Keon Julian Grant, I believe it is. Keon, maybe. I want to get it right. Trey Odoms Dukes, David Cote, William Stanback, Bo Levi Mitchell, Edmonton defense, Liram Haralahu, Hamilton defense, Javon Leake, and Stephen Dunbar Jr. Your thoughts, Mike?
Okay, team probably took more risks than I wanted to, but it's a marathon, not a sprint over 20 weeks or 21 weeks, whatever it winds up being.
Yeah, we still have to figure that out. Yeah, absolutely. And then my team to round it out. And you know what? Perfect time to answer the question in the chat. Only one BC receiver. Oh, just wait. Because I went BC early. I went BC often here. My 2 keepers, Vernon Adams Jr. and James Butler from last year. Kevin Brown, Alexander Hollins, Eugene Lewis, Justin McInnes, Sean Bain Jr., Montreal's defense, BC defense, Cameron Dukes, Boris Beatty, Jalen Philpott, Lewis Ward, Tevin Jones, and Daniel Adebaboye round out my team. My clear strategy here is I think BC does have the most explosive passing game in the league, and I think I pretty much cornered the market on that one for this year. Mike's so mad about it, he left the show. He's gone. All right. Folks, that was Mike's annual visit to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. He's back. There he is. Mike's back. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry for ragging on you there, Mike. I thought you just were so mad about my picks. You just, you dropped off the show. This draft could not have gone better. The only player that I thought I had a chance at that I didn't get was Kenny Lawler. Other than that, I got every pick I wanted pretty much for the rest of the draft. So I'm super pumped about that. I did talk about halfway through about my big brain strategy I was thinking of this year. I ultimately didn't go with. I was strongly considering my second quarterback being Trey Ford as a national and just using one of my national spots on that. And so that I could select Tevin Jones instead of Jalen Philpott. But ultimately, I did think, what if VA does go down like week 1 and that I'm stuck at quarterback? Felt a little too risky. So could not go that direction. And I got Tevin Jones in bonus rounds anyway, so it worked out. So yeah, bring on the 3-peat. I'm ready for it. All right, those are our teams here. We'll be, playing throughout the season. Waiver wire goes out this week, as well. Stay tuned in the Discord community for updates on it on social media as well. Not sure how deep we'll go into the updates on these on the regular podcast episodes here weekly, maybe like a monthly update. We'll see. But starting next week on the show, like I said, CFL season officially kicks off next week. So we're every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern time, roughly. I say roughly because we have random commitments and farm emergencies or child situations that impact that time. So join us every week throughout the season. We'll do fantasy preview. We will do betting picks. We'll do storyline preview, all that fun stuff. For every week of the CFL season. So join us there. Of course, subscribe over on the YouTube channel to get notified when we go live. I don't have the slides set up and ready to go, so we'll just skip the slides and go back to just our beautiful faces over here as we get ready to wrap things up here. So look forward to a full season of regular content. Check out the Discord link in the episode description for even more stuff in between episodes. Really excited for the start of the CFL season here amongst the crew. Follow us on social media at CF Countpod on Twitter and on Facebook. Check out Canadian Football Podcast Network at CF Pod Network on Twitter and at the Alternative Football Network at the official AFN on Twitter or alternativefootballnetwork.com. You can find me on Twitter at CooperTrooper42, gloating about my fantasy victories every week, perhaps. And Trey, people want to know what happened to your whiteboard. It's gone missing.
No, it's right here. I just got horse racing stuff on it right now. That's too important to erase. That's all. But my whiteboard's right here. You want to see? That's what I got to do this week. A lot of work. If you want to see what I got going on, at Trey Harness Link on the X. I got horse racing, both harness racing and thoroughbreds now, UFC and CFL. Really excited for that. What else do I do? Do I do anything else? God, I hope not. Yeah, that's it. Adam?
Trash talk TikToks. Are we going to see more of those throughout the season?
Maybe. I went for a walk today with the wife and kids, so that's the only reason I had time to make those. So we'll see. I don't know if you've seen my physique, but the weekly or daily walk with the family is not what I do normally, but we'll see how it goes. Adam, is that your last wardrobe change of the night?
Yeah,
have you had that for a while? Like, am I that out of it, man?
No, I've had this one on for quite a while tonight, so
Okay.
I'd represent their defense. I may as well go and have them on my head. You can find me at Adam Stewart 1. I can guarantee you there'll be about 1 million times less seeding photos because I finished seeding today, and you know what? In the farming world, that's pretty much just a big reason to go and celebrate. So, might go do that right after this. Have a quick celebration and then go to bed. Because tomorrow's spraying day. It never ends on the farm.
It never ends on the farm. That's for sure. Yeah. As if I know. The only thing about farms I know is what I see when you send us a random picture, and then I try to make sense of what's going on there.
Also, if you want to know what kind of music we play in the tractor cab, make sure you check out the Discord channel.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. There's a farming channel. You can learn all about Adam's farming stuff there. I think we're waiting for Mike to hop back in to tell us where his social media and stuff is at. He's putting on the headset behind the scenes, so we'll give him a second there. There he is. Mike. You're muted.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, folklore came in during the show. Not ideal, but we're good.
So where can people find you on social media?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Just in your note now. People can find me at Mike Darrow on X, I guess it's called now. You can find me. I do a lot of updates on. Not necessarily on social media at this time of year, but it'll pick up Facebook.com/GameTimeTVMB as the season gets closer. As our Game Time season gets closer, we'll have a major announcement next week. You can follow me on X as well. I like the new studio here. Literally had to move the entire office as part of our upcoming announcement. I won't get too far into that, but I liked it so much more down here because I used to have to just a little bit behind the scenes, not to get too far into the woods, but I used to have to leave the house to do this show and then come back in the dark. Now I can just simply walk up the stairs and do what I need to after the show. So much better down here. Still a work in progress, as you can see. But no, the office is coming along. Also, you can find us GameTimeTV.ca for now. Although it kind of takes you to a dead end seeing that season. We are working on on something. Yes, I've had the UFO landing on my head referenced quite a few times. There is a light above my head here. But no, we're dead. Glad to be back. I'll be back quite consistently this season for sure.
Woohoo! Exciting. Happy to have you back, Mike. Happy to have everybody here this evening. And thanks to everybody who joined us in the chat throughout the night as well. Fantasy Draft Time is always a fun episode to do. And, we're kicking off a new season here on the podcast. CFL interest is at a peak generally as the season's kicking off. So we appreciate if you do all the fun things like sharing the show, helping getting it out there to more people to tune in and chat along with us as we talk every week. So, do the things like, comment, subscribe, rate, review, share the show. It helps the show out. We really appreciate it. Season number 10, Kat in the chat is asking, I believe this is our 10th season of the podcast here. So thanks everybody for joining us here this evening on behalf of the entire team here. Mike, Trey, and Adam, I'm Ryan saying thank you for listening. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.